Hello, uh, my name is Andrew Joppa, and I'm making this video to go along with my writing about my situation, which I know some people don't want to read a long essay. So basically, I'll give you a quick explanation in video form. So basically, I'm 37 years old now, and I'm applying for refugee status, or I'm an asylum seeker in Hong Kong at this time. I've been in Hong Kong for more than 5 years now, seeking asylum, and my case is currently in the High Court. And basically, my case stems from something I did when I was 21 years old in the United States. I think I said I'm 37 years old now, and so when I was younger, I got into some trouble. I had a gun in my possession, and I got caught with it, and I got in some pretty serious trouble for that. And this is in the state of Georgia, near Atlanta, in the United States. And like I said, about 16 years ago now. And I got sentenced to, I got a 15-year sentence basically. And what happens in the US, since it was my first time and I've really never been in any trouble besides that, they released me after 3 years in prison. So I spent 3 years in prison and I was released before the time I was 24 years old. I was released from prison. And really, since then, uh, since I had a 15-year sentence, the rest of my sentence is to be served on probation. So once I was released on probation, I had planned on, getting my life in order and doing the right thing, which I did try to do. But I'd always been hearing these people in prison talking about the prison industrial complex and how probation is meant to keep you in prison and you'll never be able to survive probation. You'll keep violating no matter what. But I didn't believe them, because I thought of myself as being better than these other criminals that were in prison. I thought of myself as I'd always been a good kid. I just always got good grades. I was in college when I got in trouble. I was just trying to be a tough guy, and I did some stupid things, basically. So when I was released, I went back to trying to get my life in order, and I found that it was nearly impossible with probation. First of all, I wasn't allowed to even leave the county in which I was living without permission from my probation officer. And the county which I was living in had no real job opportunities. So, it just, on top of that, I was involved with some gangs, which led to my initial time of being locked up, being put in prison. And when I was released, my probation officer kept trying to push me to set up these gangs and work as an informant for the police and try to make arrests with gang members and set them up with drugs and guns and this and that. But I try to tell them I don't want anything to do with these gang members. I don't want anything to do with that kind of life anymore, whether it's for the side of the police or with them. I just want to go on with my own life and leave the past behind me. And basically, the police, local police, and the probation officer let it be known that if I wasn't with them, I was against them. So they kept pressuring me, and that led to me violating my probation twice because I had left the county without permission. I had basically driven out of the county and came back in, and I got pulled over by a police officer that was following me, and I violated my probation twice because I left the county. And after your third strike, if you violate 3 times, they can take all the rest of your probation and they can put you in prison for the rest of that time. So for me at that time, it was like another 8 years. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh my God. So basically, they're telling me I either have to work with the police, put my life in danger by working against this gang, by setting up these gang members and possibly getting myself or my family members killed or threatened or whatever, and you know, it just wasn't worth it to me. Plus, my life was hell living under probation anyway. So I made a decision that I had to get out of there. I wasn't going to risk my life by turning into a police snitch, no matter what they are threatening me with. So I left. Flew to Hawaii to get out of there, and from Hawaii, I then was able to get out of the United States and come to Hong Kong. And once I got to Hong Kong, I applied for asylum here, telling them that basically my life was in danger because of the um, the prison industrial complex in the United States, in which they were basically using me as a pawn, pressuring me to work for the police or basically be put back into prison. And that's not part of probation. They're just supposed to monitor you, make sure you're working and doing the right thing, which I was doing. There's no clause in your probation which says you have to work for the police and become an informant. There's none of that. And that's basically what they were doing. They were basically forcing me to do that, or they were telling me they were going to put me back into prison. It was that simple, really. You know, and I don't like to talk about it, but when I was in prison, I was 21 years old, a young white boy in a prison system which is more than 60% black and Hispanic, and I was beaten on almost daily basis. I was raped, and it was a really horrible experience for me. And every day I was used and abused in every way you can imagine it. And I mean, what kind of things go on in prison. You can see me. I'm a pretty small white guy, and I didn't do very well in a prison where full of big gangster types, basically. So yeah, those terrible things happened to me, and to this day I still have a horrible fear of going back to prison, and that's part of what led me to run, because honestly, to me, I would rather die than go back to prison to be raped and beaten and tortured in every possible way. And it's so common there, the officers don't care. Yeah, you can tell them I want to go into protective custody, and you know what they do? They put you in your own cell 23 hours a day. You're sitting just staring at the walls by yourself. So it's basically either you're going to get physically abused, or you put yourself through the mental abuse of solitary confinement. There's no win in that situation. So basically I left, and that's why I'm here in Hong Kong seeking asylum, because if I'm returned to the United States now, they will revoke the rest of my probation, because I've been running from them for 7 years, because I refused to give in to them and become a police informant and risk my life. I just wanted to get on with my life and forget my past, and they would not let me do that. And now, if I'm returned, I'll be sent back to prison, like I said, where I'll be raped and beaten and tortured. And I'm already mentally struggling with what happened 16 years ago, and I've told myself I will die before I'm allowed to allow myself to go through that again. So that's where it is now. I'm not going to let them extradite me. I will die before I allow the state of Georgia to get their hands on me again to do this to me once again. It's not going to happen, because I'm not a bad person. I'm not a criminal. All I want to do is work and be a productive member of society. And right now, actually in Hong Kong, they've been very accommodating as far as the asylum system goes. However, to protect the local workforce, which many countries have this law that you're not allowed to work. So basically, it's very difficult for me to survive here, and I have no money for a lot of basic necessities. Forget about paying for legal assistance for my case. So basically, my legal challenges are running out, and as I said, I'm not going to allow myself to be returned. And when my legal challenges run out, they will try to deport me, and I really I don't know what's going to happen at that point, because I'm not going back. And without assistance to either help for me to seek legal refuge in another country, which may be more accommodating, where I can work and possibly get legal citizenship there, which isn't available in Hong Kong to me at this point. Basically, I need funds to seek this legal assistance to either have me allow me to stay in Hong Kong or to get legal assistance to seek citizenship in another country. And right now, without the means to work, I mean, I'm barely surviving. So that's why I'm asking for anyone's help who may have some pity on my case or would like to help me in any way. Feel free to show your support for me by donating to my PayPal account, which I'll put a link in the comment section. And also, you can read my full story, which I've written out, which is in my Facebook, and I'll put a link in the comment section to this video as well. Okay. Thanks for listening, and I appreciate any support that might be forthcoming. If you have any more questions, you can also contact me at joppatrainme at gmail.com. It's JOPPATRAINME. Joppatrainme at gmail.com. Okay, or I think you can contact me through this through YouTube as well. Okay, thank you very much.